Hey everyone. Before we dive into today's story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from and what time it is there. It really helps YouTube recommend more stories like this one to you. All right, let's jump right in.
The first time I noticed it, I was brushing my teeth after our third date. I leaned over the sink, rinsing, spitting, wiping my mouth. When I looked up, my reflection didn't move. It just stood there, frozen for half a second longer than I did. I blinked. It blinked back. Maybe I was tired. Maybe the wine was hitting harder than I thought. But I remember how the cold edge of the bathroom counter dug into my thighs, grounding me. I remember the toothpaste still fizzing on my tongue. And I remember the hairs on my arms rising like they knew something I didn't. I didn't say anything. Just backed out of the bathroom, trying to laugh it off in my head. But it kept happening. Every mirror. Every screen. My reflection always a beat too slow. I met her on Tinder. Her name was Mika. Pretty, dark eyes, a little artsy, kind of quiet. Her profile was vague, no bio, just 4 photos. One was a close-up with a vintage camera in front of her face. Another was her standing in some forest wearing a red coat. There was something magnetic about her. She wasn't trying hard to impress anyone. No filters, no thirst traps. Just mystery. Our conversations were slow, measured. She didn't use emojis. She always replied with one-word answers, but somehow made them feel like enough. Want to get coffee? Sure. Where do you live? Nearby. Are you free Friday? Yes. No overthinking. No games. Our first date was normal. We met at a cafe downtown. She wore a black turtleneck and had this soft, pale look, like someone from a painting. She didn't smile much, but when she did, it felt real. When she left, she said, "Let's do this again." And we did. After the third date, I invited her to my apartment. Nothing crazy, just wine, music, talking. She stayed the night. We didn't sleep together. She just curled up next to me like she'd done it 100 times before. But the next morning, she was up before me. I found her standing in my hallway, staring into the mirror outside my bedroom. Not fixing her hair, not adjusting her makeup. Just staring. Her hands were at her sides. Her head tilted slightly. I asked if she was okay. She turned, gave a soft smile. Just looking. I laughed. You're creepy, you know that? She didn't answer. That was the first morning I saw my reflection lag behind me. It blinked 2 seconds late. After that, little things started changing. Subtle things. When I walked past shop windows, the version of me looking back seemed wrong, too still. Like it was waiting for something. At home, I caught glimpses of my reflection moving when I wasn't. Like an itch in my brain. I couldn't scratch, knowing something's off. But not being able to prove it, I tried filming myself. Just my bathroom mirror. 30-minute clips while I brushed my teeth or got ready. But nothing happened on video. Only when I looked with my own eyes. I even tried it with Mika next to me once. You see it, right? I asked, pointing at the mirror. Tell me that doesn't look delayed. She tilted her head, watching. You look fine to me. Then, without breaking eye contact with the mirror, she added, maybe your reflection's just learning how to keep up. I felt cold all over. That night, I dreamt I woke up in front of the mirror, naked, pale, unblinking. But in the reflection, I was smiling. Micah started coming over more often. I never invited her. She just texted, "Here," and I'd open the door to find her already waiting. No knock, no footsteps. She never brought a bag. Never needed a charger. I never saw her eat. One time I tried to ask where she lived. Her answer, around. Another time I asked how many siblings she had. She said used to be 2. Now it's just me. Wait, what happened? She paused. They didn't listen. That's all she said. I started avoiding mirrors. covered the one in my bathroom with a towel, turned off the hallway lights. Didn't look when I passed windows at night. But sometimes I'd wake up and find the towel removed, or the lights back on. Once, I came home to see every mirror in my apartment wiped spotless, shining like they'd just been polished. She said, "I like seeing you clearly." Then came the worst night. We were lying in bed, the apartment silent except for the occasional hum of traffic below. She was curled against me, eyes closed, breathing soft. I don't know why I opened my eyes, or why I looked at the mirror across the room, but I did. And in the dim blue light leaking through the blinds, I saw her. Standing. Not lying beside me, standing at the edge of the bed, facing the mirror, but the bed still felt warm next to me. I turned. She was still there, asleep, breathing, but in the mirror. Her other self smiled, tilted her head, raised a hand to the glass like she was inside it. I couldn't breathe. I blinked. When I looked again, the mirror was empty. Just me, sitting upright in bed, drenched in sweat. Mika stirred. "Bad dream?" I didn't answer. In the morning, she was gone. No text. No sign she'd ever been there, but all the mirrors in my apartment, and I mean all of them, were wiped spotless again. That was 2 weeks ago. I haven't seen her since. Her Tinder profile disappeared. None of her numbers work. Even the coffee shop where we met swears no one by that name ever worked there, or even matched her description. But she's still here, or something is, because every time I pass a mirror, I don't trust the thing looking back. It watches. It smiles when I don't. It twitches slightly out of sync. And sometimes, when I lean in close, I swear I see her standing just behind me. Smiling. Waiting. I kept every mirror covered after that. Bed sheets, towels, newspaper, anything. My apartment looked like it was under renovation, or like I was hiding from something I couldn't admit was real. But even covered, I could feel them. The mirrors. Like they were humming. Like something behind them was pressing its face against the glass, waiting for me to look. I didn't sleep much. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her standing in the corner of my room. Or worse, behind me, in the mirror's version of my apartment. I tried convincing myself it was stress, paranoia, whatever. But everything shifted the moment I noticed the first message on my phone. It came at 3:41 a.m., a picture text. No caption, no number, just a photo of me, standing in front of my bathroom mirror. Except I wasn't in the bathroom, I was in bed. I swear to God, I felt my heart stop. The sheets were cold against my legs, my breath sharp and loud in the dark. I zoomed in on the photo. In the reflection behind me, her silhouette. Just the outline of her head, tilted, watching, and she was smiling. I didn't go to work the next day. Couldn't. I sat on my couch with all the lights on, trying to convince myself to call someone, my sister, a friend, even the police. But what would I say? Hi, someone's sending me photos of myself that shouldn't exist, and my reflection hates me. They'd ask me if I'd been sleeping, if I'd been drinking, if maybe I imagined the girl who somehow erased her whole existence in a week. No one would believe me. I barely believed me. But then something happened that pushed everything from maybe I'm losing it to I need to get out of here right now. Around noon, the bathroom light flicked on by itself. It made this soft click, like someone pressing the switch with a fingertip. I froze. The air felt thick, like humidity before a storm. I could smell something off, like old water, metal, and cold breath. I didn't move, didn't breathe. Then came another sound, a soft, deliberate scrape. Like a fingernail dragging across glass. Once. Twice. A slow, steady rhythm. The sound was coming from behind the shower curtain, but I knew there was only one thing in there: the mirror I had covered. I sat paralyzed for maybe 30 seconds. It felt like hours. Then my phone buzzed. Another photo. This time, it was a live image. The kind that moves a little when you press a dot. My hand shook so hard, I almost dropped the phone. I tapped the screen. The image played. It was my bathroom mirror. Covered in a white towel. Still. Quiet. Then slowly. Something pushed against the towel from behind. Pressing out. Forming the shape of a forehead. Then a face. Then two hands. A shape was trying to come through. I dropped the phone. Grabbed my keys, wallet, shoes. I didn't even lock the door behind me. I just ran down the stairwell. Onto the street. Into the closest crowded place I could find. Some overpriced brunch spot, full of tourists and loud music. I sat in a booth, trying not to cry. Trying not to look at the giant decorative mirrors all over the walls. I ordered a coffee. Watched people. Pretended to be normal. Then someone slid into the booth across from me. Not sitting. Just hovering slightly above the seat. A woman. Black turtleneck. Dark eyes. Pale skin. Makeup. She didn't blink. Didn't move. Just stared at me like she'd been waiting for me to finally be alone in public. My whole body went cold. Maka? I managed. She smiled. Soft. Familiar. Wrong. You left too soon, she said. Her voice was the same, but flatter. Empty somehow. Like someone replaying an audio clip of her. I swallowed hard. What do you want? She tilted her head. A slow, unnatural angle. You're not listening, she said. Saying words she'd used when I asked about her siblings. My throat tightened. What's in my apartment? What's happening to me? Her smile widened just a fraction. You've been seen. Her eyes drifted past me, toward the mirror on the wall. I turned. Behind me, in the reflection, I wasn't sitting. I was standing. Right behind her. Smiling. I whipped back around. No one was behind her. Just empty air. When I looked again, she was gone. Just gone. No footsteps. No door. No sound. Like she'd dissolved into the space between moments. I didn't go home that night. I didn't go anywhere near my apartment. I booked a cheap motel an hour outside the city. One of those places where the sheets smell like bleach and the air conditioner rattles when it turns on. No mirrors. That's why I chose it. The only reflective surface was the old TV. And I taped a towel over that too. For the first time in days, I slept. Not well. Not peacefully. But enough. I woke up around 5 a.m. to the sound of someone walking outside. My door. Soft steps. Slow. Barefoot. They stopped directly in front of my room. Then came a whisper. Not a word. Just a breath. A long exhale, like someone pressing their lips against the door and waiting. I didn't move. Didn't make a sound. After a minute, maybe two, the footsteps walked away. I waited until sunrise before I packed up and drove back to the city. I needed answers. Or closure. Or proof I wasn't losing my mind. Maybe all three. When I reached my apartment building, the hallway felt colder than usual. Silent. Too silent. My door was slightly open, not broken. Not forced. Just open. I pushed it gently. The apartment was exactly as I left it. Lights on, towels covering everything. But the air smelled different. A sharp, chemical smell. Glass cleaner. I felt my chest tighten as I stepped into the bathroom. The towel was gone. The mirror was spotless, perfectly clean, and written across it, in fog, like someone had breathed the words onto the surface. Letting me catch up. I stumbled back. My breath hitched. Then I saw movement. Not in front of me. Behind me. In the mirror. My reflection slowly lifted its hand, but I hadn't moved. Its fingers pressed against the glass, leaving prints that didn't match mine. Longer, sharper, pale, like bone. Then its mouth moved, slowly, exaggerated, like someone learning how to shape human words. Open. I ran. I sprinted out of the apartment, down the stairs, out onto the street. I kept running until my lungs burned and the cold morning air felt like knives in my chest. Didn't stop until I reached a bus stop miles away. I sat there shaking, sweating, freezing all at once. I told myself I'd never go back there. I still haven't. I left everything. My clothes, my furniture, my photos, my entire life. But the thing is, leaving didn't stop it. 3 days ago, I checked into another motel. Different town, different building. No mirrors. I thought I'd be safe. But yesterday morning, when I woke up, I found my phone face down on the pillow beside me. I never sleep with it in the bed. I unlocked it. There was a new photo. Live one. My motel room. Filmed from the inside of the TV screen. From behind the glass. And in the reflection. She was there. Standing right behind me. Smiling. I don't know what she is. I don't know what she wants. I don't know why she chose me. But I know this. Every reflective surface I see, even the faintest shimmer in a dark window, there's something wrong with the version of me inside it. It watches me. It learns me. And tonight, when I turned off the lights, I caught it smiling first. The first thing that should have tipped me off was how fast he matched with me. It was like I swiped right, and bam, it's a match. Instant. Like he'd just been waiting. His name was Milo. Clean photos. A little artsy. All black and white. One was him standing in front of a bonfire, holding a Polaroid camera. Another was a blurry side profile. Just his jawline and part of a tattoo on his neck. His bio? Just 2 words, let go. I don't know why, but I messaged him first. Okay, so what am I letting go of? His reply came 10 seconds later. Everything. It was weird, but it was also intriguing. His vibe felt different from the usual shirtless gym guys and finance brothers who treated Tinder like a vending machine. Milo didn't ask for my Instagram or hit me with pickup lines. He asked things like, "When's the last time you felt truly silent? Do you think pain is necessary for transformation? Do you ever feel like your body doesn't belong to you?" That last one made me pause. I asked if he was a therapist. He said no. Just curious. After 3 days of talking, he invited me out. Not to dinner. Not to drinks. He said he wanted to take me somewhere quiet. Not creepy quiet, he added. Just away from all the noise. I don't know why I said yes. Something about him made you want to listen. He picked me up on a Thursday night. Just after 9 p.m. His car was spotless, too clean honestly. No music playing, just the hum of the engine and the occasional crunch of gravel beneath the tires. I asked where we were going. He said, "Just a place I go to think. You'll like it." We drove for almost an hour. City lights fell away behind us. The roads narrowed. Trees got thicker. No GPS on his dash, no phone mounted anywhere. Eventually, we turned onto a dirt path that barely looked like a road. My stomach started to tighten. I laughed, trying to make it light. "This isn't the part where you kill me and bury me in the woods, right?" He smiled. "Would you believe me if I said no?" The way he said it felt wrong, not like a joke. Like a test. We pulled up to a clearing. A wide, flat patch of earth surrounded by tall trees. There was a circle of rocks in the center, like a fire pit. No one else around. He got out. I hesitated, then followed. The air was cold. Still, too still. Not a single breeze. No animal sounds. Even the leaves looked frozen. "This is where I go when I need to let go," he said, walking to the center. "Sometimes the world feels so fake, you know." I didn't answer. Something was off. He reached into his coat and pulled out a small wooden box. Opened it. Inside was a knife. Not a kitchen knife. Something old, ritual looking. The blade was curved, the handle wrapped in blackened cloth. It looked handmade, or ancient. He knelt by the fire pit and placed it on the stones like it was sacred. I took a step back. "Okay," I said. "What is this?" He looked up at me slowly. "Pain breaks illusion. That's all." I laughed nervously. What the hell does that mean? Milo stood. His face didn't change, but his voice dropped, calm and heavy. There's a veil between what we are and what we could be. Most people live their whole lives never looking past it. I turned. I wanted to go. This had officially crossed into red flag territory. But as I stepped toward the car, I heard something crunch footsteps, not mine from the trees. I spun around, heart hammering. Milo was still by the fire pit, silent, still. But someone else was there. A woman stepped out from the trees. Pale skin. Long dark hair. Barefoot. She wore a white dress, stained at the bottom with mud. Then another person stepped out. A man this time, bald, shirtless, bare feet too. His chest was covered in symbols, black ink scrawled like runes or letters I didn't understand. Then another. And another. 7 people in total, slowly emerging from the forest. All dressed in similar white or nothing at all. Faces blank. Calm. None of them said a word. I started backing up toward the car. Trying not to run. "Milo," I whispered. "What the F*** is this?" He turned to me. "It's a gift," he said. My breath caught. He nodded toward the group. "They've let go. And tonight, you can too." I didn't wait to hear more. I ran for the car, but the second I turned my back, something heavy slammed into me. I hit the dirt hard. The breath knocked out of me. Hands grabbed my arms. My legs, too many to count. Cold fingers. Nails digging in. I screamed, fought, kicked someone in the face. Bit another. But they didn't yell. Didn't react. Just dragged me back toward the circle. They laid me on the ground in the middle on my back, staring up at the stars. Milo stood over me. "You don't understand yet," he said softly. "But you will." I screamed again until someone forced a cloth into my mouth. The taste was chemical bitter. Wrong. I started to fade. The last thing I saw was the knife being passed into Milo's hands. I don't know how much time passed. Hours maybe. Or just minutes. When I woke up, I was alone, still lying in the clearing. The fire pit was cold. The sky was brighter now, maybe early morning. I was unhurt. No bruises, no cuts, nothing. My mouth was dry. My clothes were covered in dirt. The knife was gone. The people were gone. Milo was gone. So was his car. I staggered to my feet and ran. I didn't know where I was, but I kept moving. Eventually I found a road. Hitched a ride with a truck driver who didn't ask questions. He dropped me at a gas station where I finally called someone. The police didn't believe me. Not really. They filed a report. Said it sounded like some kind of spiritual gathering that went too far. Asked if I was on drugs. Told me it would be hard to track Milo without a real last name. Tinder deleted our messages when I unmatched him. His profile was gone. No trace. No screenshots. It was like he'd never existed. But I know what I saw. I know what they did. And I know what happened after I left, because the signs didn't stop. I wish I could say it ended there. That they dragged me into the woods, scared me half to death, and vanished. But the thing is, they let me go on purpose. I wasn't supposed to die that night. I was supposed to carry something back, and I did. The first weird thing happened the day after. I was in my apartment, sitting on the bathroom floor, just staring at the wall. I hadn't slept. Couldn't eat. Couldn't stop replaying the moment that knife hovered over me. I looked up at the mirror above. The sink. It was fogged over, which was strange, because I hadn't showered or run any hot water. Then, slowly, something started to appear on the glass. Not words. Not a handprint. Just a symbol. It looked like a circle with jagged lines cutting through it. Like a sun made of teeth. The exact same symbol I'd seen tattooed on the bald guy's chest in the woods. I stared at it for a solid 30 seconds before it faded, like breath disappearing from glass. That was the first time I said it out loud. They marked me. The second thing was the dreams. Every night, I'd wake up drenched in sweat, gasping. Not just scared, exhausted, like my soul had been running. Same dream every time. I'm standing in a ring of fire. The people in white are circling me, humming something low and slow. Milo is there too, except he's not Milo anymore. His face is blank. His eyes are solid black. His mouth doesn't move when he speaks. He says, "You walked away, but you didn't leave." Then the fire closes in. Always wake up right before it touches me. I started noticing the symbols showing up in the real world. 2. Scratched into the back of a park. Bench. Drawn in chalk on the sidewalk outside my building. Etched faintly on my own wrist, a shallow imprint. Like someone had pressed a hot coin into my skin while I slept. I tried to scrub it off. Tried everything. But it stayed. Faint, but always visible. And then the text started. No number. No name. Just photos. One of me sleeping. Another of me in the grocery store. Taken from the end of the aisle. Then one from behind my bedroom window. And I live on the 4th floor. Every message said the same thing underneath. Let go. I went to the cops again. Showed them everything. They said the number couldn't be traced. That I might be the victim of a harassment ring or someone using spyware. That I should stay with friends and get off social media for a bit. No one took it seriously. Not even when I found a box on my doorstep. Inside was a single Polaroid photo, me in the clearing. Unconscious, a matchbook from a bar. I'd never heard of a note that just said, "Are you ready now?" That's when I cracked. I threw everything away. I deleted my Tinder. Changed my number. Moved to a new apartment in another city. I stopped going by my real name online. Cut off old friends. I tried to become invisible, but it didn't matter. They always found me. 3 months after I moved, I was walking home from my new job at a late-night cafe. It was almost 2 a.m., raining, streets mostly empty. I turned the corner to my building and saw a man standing under the awning. He looked soaked, like he'd been standing in the rain for hours. I slowed. Got this awful feeling in my gut. When I got closer, I saw the tattoo on his neck, that same jagged sun. He didn't say anything, just held something out to me. I didn't take it. I ran inside, locked the door, called the building manager. By the time anyone came to check, he was gone. But there, on the doormat, was a black envelope. Inside, another Polaroid. This time it was me, holding the knife. I started losing time after that. Little moments at first. I'd blink and suddenly be across the room from where I'd just been. Wake up with dirt under my fingernails and no idea how it got there. One night, I fell asleep in bed and woke up standing in front of my bathroom mirror. Symbol drawn on the glass again. Fresh, and I was smiling in the reflection. It wasn't a dream. I reached out to someone, a friend of a friend, this woman named Taya who ran a podcast about cults, ritual groups, stuff like that. Total skeptic. But she'd interviewed ex-members, read sealed files, studied all kinds of dark groups that operated in the cracks of society. I told her everything. She didn't laugh, didn't even flinch. She said, "You didn't join a cult. They initiated you without your consent." That phrase hit me like ice in the spine. She explained that some fringe groups believe you can transfer burden, make someone part of the group by forcing them to endure a symbolic ritual. Pain, isolation, disorientation. Even if you walk away physically, your mind is still open. Once you're marked, she said, they see you as part of them, like a branded animal. I asked her how to undo it. She went quiet, then said, "They don't really let people go. Not until the cycle is complete." I asked what that meant. Her answer chilled me. You either bring someone else in, or you die. I hung up, blocked her number. I didn't want to believe it. But a week later I got one last message, just 3 words, "Your turn now." And a Tinder notification, not from me. From a brand new account. One I didn't create. The profile was under my name. My photos. And in the bio. Let go. It's been 4 days. Every time I delete the account, it reappears. Every time I close the app, I wake up with it, reopen. And the matches come faster than they ever did before. I don't talk to them. I don't respond. But I can feel the pressure building. Like something just behind. The veil is waiting. Watching. Smiling. This isn't just a story about a weird Tinder date. This is a warning, because somewhere out there, someone else is going to match with that profile. They'll swipe right. They'll get a message. They'll be curious, and then the cycle starts again. The first time she called me after the date, it was kind of sweet. It was around midnight, a few hours after we'd said goodbye. She said she'd had a great time and hoped I made it home safe. Her voice was soft, low. The kind of voice you'd expect to hear in a podcast or an ASMR video. Calming, almost. I told her I had a good time too, but I was exhausted and heading to bed. She laughed, this nervous little chuckle, and said, "Sorry, I just didn't want the night to end." I figured that was it. It wasn't. We'd only been talking on Tinder for a week before we met up. Her name was Grace. She had the usual mix of candids and soft filters, nothing too polished. Nothing that screamed fake. She said she liked old horror movies, hiking, and deep conversations. I liked that she didn't use a million emojis. She was a little awkward, but honest. We met at a bar downtown. She was exactly how she looked in her pictures, maybe even prettier in person. Soft features, long dark hair, kind eyes. She was shy at first but opened up fast once we got a drink in her. We talked about all kinds of stuff, dreams, fears, our childhoods, how weird dating apps are. She laughed a lot. Touched my arm when I made jokes. Honestly, I thought she was cool. A little intense, maybe. But harmless. The second call came the next morning. I was getting ready for work when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I let it ring out. Then she texted, "Hey, it's Grace. Sorry if I'm being annoying. Just thinking about last night. You've got that voice I can't stop hearing in my head." I didn't reply immediately. It felt off, but later that afternoon, I shot back a casual, "Hey, no worries. I had fun too." She replied instantly, "I know." That night, she called again. And the night after that. Always late. Always from different numbers. It was never long. Just quiet breathing at first. Then a few whispered sentences. Stuff like, "I can't sleep. I keep seeing your face. I feel like I've known you longer than just one night. I think I've been waiting for you." By the fourth call, I stopped answering. I blocked every number she used. Dozens eventually, but new ones kept popping up. Burner apps maybe. Or second phones. I didn't know. Then the voicemail started piling up. Some were just silence. Others were barely audible whispers. And some sounded like humming, a single note, over and over. Low and steady, like a lullaby sung in reverse. I saved one to send to a friend. But when I tried to replay it later, the file was gone. Not deleted, just gone. The app acted like it never existed. I sent Grace a message on Tinder. Tried to be kind but firm. "Hey, this is getting to be a bit much. I liked hanging out, but I'm not looking for anything serious right now. I hope you understand." She never replied. Instead, her whole profile disappeared about an hour later. Unmatched. Gone. Like she'd never been there. For a moment, I felt relief. Until that night, when I woke up at 3:17. Aimed to my phone, ringing again. Unknown number. I didn't answer, but my phone buzzed again immediately. Text. "I understand," smiley face. That should have been the end. But a WSN single quotes D. Because now, even when my phone isn't ringing, I still hear it. In the middle of meetings, In the shower. While I'm walking home. A phantom vibration. Followed by a ringtone. I don't even use dot, and sometimes, when I check the screen, it's black. Completely. Off dot dead dot, but the ringing doesn't stop. The ringing kept happening even when my phone was off. That's when I knew something was deeply, seriously wrong. Not awkward first date wrong. Not clingy person wrong. More like, I don't think she ever stopped watching me wrong. 3 days after the phantom calls started, something new happened. I was brushing my teeth before work, leaning over the sink, when I heard a faint vibration behind me, the exact hum my phone makes when it's on silent. Except my phone was plugged into the kitchen wall. I froze. The vibration came again. Louder this time, coming from inside the bathroom. I checked the counter. Nothing. Checked my pockets. Empty. Checked the shower. Nothing. Then I realized the vibration wasn't coming from an object. It was coming from the wall. Inside it, like a phone buzzing on drywall. I put my ear to the tile. The vibration stopped. Then a familiar sound replaced it. Her voice, muffled, like a whisper through insulation. I could make out the words. Why aren't you answering? I stumbled out of the bathroom so fast I hit my shoulder against the doorframe. The pain snapped me back into reality, and I knew, blocking her wasn't enough. She didn't need my number anymore. The next morning, I tried to distract myself at work. But around noon, my coworker Jason waved at me from across the cafe, holding my phone. Dude, your alarm is going off. Except I hadn't set an alarm. I unlocked the screen. A timer was counting upward. 3 hours, 17 minutes, and 32 seconds. The exact time since I'd woken up. Below, it was a single notification. Recording saved. I checked my voice memos. A new file sat at the top. 3 hours, 17 minutes, and 13 seconds AM. Grace duration. 3 hours, 17 minutes, and 32 seconds. My stomach dropped. I hit play. At first, it was just breathing. Mine. Slow, deep, sleeping breaths. Then the sound shifted. Footsteps. Soft. Careful. Floorboards creaking near my bed. Then, very faintly, you look peaceful like this. I nearly dropped the phone. My hands were shaking so hard that Jason had to grab it from me before I smashed it. He looked at the file. It's blank, he said. You sure you're okay? And on his screen, it was blank. Like the recording didn't exist, but on mine, it was still there. That night, I slept with the lights on. Didn't matter. At exactly 3:17 a.m. My phone lit up. Unknown number. My ringtone, the one I disabled, played loud enough to shake the nightstand. Stared at the screen. The call wouldn't let me decline. Wouldn't let me swipe away. Wouldn't let me power off the phone. And my own reflection in the screen didn't look right. My eyes were slightly off center, like they were looking past me. Behind me. The ringing stopped. A voicemail appeared. I didn't play it. I didn't. Need to. Because from the hallway outside my bedroom, I heard her voice live. Soft. Sweet. Like she was smiling. I know you're awake. I grabbed a baseball bat and walked toward the hallway. Heart tried to escape my chest. The apartment felt colder, like the temperature dropped 10 degrees in one breath. I flicked the hall light on. Nothing. I walked to the front door. Door was still locked. Chain still on. No windows open, but the smell hit me. That faint perfume she wore on our date. Vanilla and something floral. Soft, warm, like she was still standing right beside me. I whispered, Grace? Silence. Then, -BZZZ. My phone vibrated on the table. A text. You walked right past me. I called the police. I didn't care about sounding paranoid. They searched the entire apartment. Checked the closets, attic access, hallways, even the roof. No one was there. No forced entry. No signs of anyone visiting. And the officer kept giving me that look. "The maybe you're having a mental episode look," he said, gently. "Sometimes loneliness makes us imagine things." Yeah, sure, loneliness made someone whisper into my wall. The next day is when everything finally snapped. I was outside my building, trying to unlock my bike, when a woman brushed past me. Hood up, head down. Not unusual, but she whispered as she passed, "You're making this harder than it needs to be." My whole body froze. I spun around. She was already gone. Not walking away. Gone. Like she ducked into a building or turned a corner that wasn't there. I ran upstairs, shaking so bad I dropped my keys twice. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A photo sent from another unknown number. My hallway. My front door. Me standing outside of it. Grace wasn't in the photo, but someone, a shadow, was right behind me in the picture. Tall, thin, hair falling over one shoulder, head tilted like she was studying me. I lost it. I started tearing my apartment apart, looking under furniture, behind doors, inside cabinets, the crawl space, anywhere she could possibly hide. I even moved my bed away from the wall, convinced she was crawling inside the drywall. Nothing. But when I pushed the bed back, my phone buzzed again. This time, a video taken from inside my bedroom, from the corner where the wall meets the ceiling. The angle looked down at me, sweating, panicked, kneeling on the floor. And behind me, standing in the doorway, was Grace. Her hair covered her face. Her head was lowered. Her hands were at her sides. Still, I whipped around so fast I nearly fell. No one there, but the smell of her perfume was choking the air. I didn't sleep that night, or the next night, or the next. Every call came at 3:17 a.m. Every voicemail was empty, but still lasted exactly 1 minute and 17 seconds. Sometimes I heard breathing, sometimes humming, sometimes the faint scrape of fingernails on drywall. Last night, she called again. My phone lit up the whole room. Unknown number. No option to decline. I answered. For 10 seconds, there was nothing. Then a soft exhale, followed by her whisper, "You don't have to be scared. I'm already inside." I threw the phone. Didn't matter. Her voice didn't come from the phone. It came from under my bed. "I'm staying at a motel tonight. No mirrors, no vents, no closets, just a locked door and a chair wedged under the handle." I can still smell her perfume, and my phone, even though I took the battery out, just lit up again. The screen shows one missed call, 3:17, a dot, and the caller ID says, "Grace, home my home." The second he locked the restaurant door behind us, I knew I'd made a mistake. It wasn't loud. Just a soft click, like someone sealing something shut. But it was the way he looked at me after, how his smile didn't reach his eyes. That made my whole body tense. I laughed awkwardly. "That's not for us, right?" He raised his eyebrows like he didn't know what I meant. "The door," I said. "You just locked it." "Oh," he said casually, slipping the key into his coat pocket. "They always lock the doors during private tastings." I wasn't told this was private. In fact, I wasn't told much of anything. Let me back up for 2 seconds. His name was Drew. Tall, soft-spoken, well-dressed. He had this old-school politeness to him, like he held the door, stood when I approached, walked on the outside of the sidewalk. You'd think it was charming. And it was. At first. We matched on Tinder after I'd been back on the app for all of one day. He messaged me first. I don't usually do this, but something about your eyes made me stay longer than I should have. Cringe? A little, but in a nice way. We talked for 2 days. He wasn't pushy. No weird compliments. Didn't ask for photos. Just wanted to meet for dinner. I almost said no, but he picked a nice place. A little old bistro tucked into a quiet street near the Arts District. Said he had a hookup there, a friend who managed it and could get us a reservation, even though they were usually booked out. I thought it would be intimate. I didn't know. Intimate meant just as dot. There were no other guests. No waitstaff. Just the two of us and a candlelit table in the middle of the dining room. The lights were dim. The windows were covered with thick drapes. Classical music played softly from a speaker in the corner. The whole room smelled like wine and lemon and something faintly coppery. Drew pulled my chair out for me, sat down across from me, smiled like everything was normal. I tried to play it cool. So, is this like after hours? He nodded, kind of. Just us tonight. He didn't offer more. That should have been red flag. Hashtag 1.red flag number 2. Came with the food. We didn't order. Drew didn't even ask for a menu. He just looked toward the kitchen. And less than a minute later, a man in chef's whites walked out holding 2 identical plates. Pasta, red sauce. Wine already poured. No eye contact. No greeting. The chef placed the food down, turned, and walked back to the kitchen without a word. I watched the door swing shut behind him. Drew just smiled. "You'll love this," he said. I didn't touch my plate. We made small talk. He asked about my job, my siblings, my favorite memory from childhood. His questions felt rehearsed, like he'd already heard the answers before and was just checking if I'd say the same thing again. At one point, I mentioned a beach I used to visit as a kid, and his eyes lit up. "I know that place," he said. "The one with the rusted shipwreck down the shoreline." I never said anything about a shipwreck. I froze. "Have we met before?" I asked. He shook his head almost too quickly. "No, but maybe in another life." I reached for my phone. No service. No Wi-Fi. I looked at the window. Thick velvet curtains, pulled shut tight. No sound outside. No headlights passing. No wind. Just that low classical music. And the candle between us. I stood up. "I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick." He smiled, nodded, leaned back in his chair. I walked calmly through the restaurant, past the rows of empty tables and chairs, into a hallway lined with framed black and white photos. There were no signs, just 2 doors, one unmarked, one with a keyhole. I opened the unmarked one. Storage closet. Tried the other. Locked. I looked behind, and Drew was still at the table, watching me, still smiling. When I got back to the table, he raised his glass. "To strange meetings," he said. I didn't clink mine. "Hey," I said carefully, "would you mind unlocking the door?" He tilted his head. "You want to leave?" I don't really feel comfortable." He studied me like I'd said something disappointing. "I thought we were getting along," he said. "Was the food not to your taste?" I didn't eat it. He looked at the plate, then back at me. His face changed, just a flicker, like a mask slipping for a second. Then came the 3rd red flag. He said, "You don't have to pretend anymore. We've done this before." I stood up, backing away, unlocked the door. He didn't move. "I'm not going to hurt you," he said. "You always panic around this part." "What are you talking about?" "You think this is the first time we've met. That's the joke. You never remember." I backed into a table, knocking over a wine glass. The sharp sound echoed like a gunshot. He stood slowly, adjusted his cuffs. "I wish you could remember it the way I do. The first time, you smiled when I told you. You held my hand." I ran straight to the door. I yanked on the handle, locked of course. I turned, looking for anything heavy. A chair, a bottle, anything. That's when I noticed the paintings on the walls. Portraits of women. All different, but all with the same eyes. My eyes. I stumbled backward, staring at the portraits. There were at least 6 of them. Maybe more, hung like museum pieces in gold-framed glass. Some oil-painted, some in faded ink. Different decades, different clothes, different styles. But every single woman in those frames had my face. Not exactly, Not perfectly, but close enough. The same eyes, same brow. One even had the exact scar above her lip, the one I got when I was 5 from falling off my bike. I stepped closer to the nearest painting, unable to stop myself. The signature in the corner read, a D. Drew's initials. Behind me, his voice came low, like he was standing inches from my neck. You're always drawn to that one. I spun around, heart pounding, ready to hit him with anything I could grab, but he wasn't there. The dining room was empty. Just the flickering candlelight, the soft hum of the music, my untouched plate of pasta. The front door was still locked, the curtains still drawn. I should have smashed the window, thrown a chair, screamed, but instead, I walked toward the kitchen. I pushed open the swinging door and stepped inside. It was pristine. Too pristine. Everything stainless steel and spotless, like no one had ever actually cooked in there. No chef, no staff. Just a long counter and one empty pot on the stove. Still warm. There was a narrow door on the far wall, partway open, light spilling from behind it. I stepped through. And found a hallway. Cold, sterile, more like a hospital than a restaurant. The walls were lined with drawers, long horizontal, ones like morgue slabs. Each drawer had a brass plaque. And every plaque had a date: 1986, 1992, 2014, 2020. All dates spaced roughly 5 to 7 years apart. There were dozens of them. I reached for the nearest one, hands shaking. The drawer slid open with a metallic scrape. Inside, a box. Inside the box, Polaroids. Photos of a woman, smiling, laughing, sitting at a candlelit table in this exact restaurant, wearing different clothes, different hair, but that face, it was mine. I opened another drawer. More Polaroids. Same story, different names scrawled on the backs: Kara, Elise, Mia, Jordan, but always my face. Like he'd found different versions of me. Over and over, for decades. I stepped back, stomach churning. From the far end of the hall, a shadow moved. Footsteps. Slow and deliberate. Drew's voice echoed softly. You look through those every time. I ran, back through the kitchen, through the dining room. I grabbed a chair and hurled it at the window. The glass cracked but didn't break. Thick, reinforced. I turned for the door just as Drew stepped into the room again. Calm, hands in his pockets. You're still early in the cycle, he said. I know it's confusing. What are you? I shouted. What the hell is this? He tilted his head. You really don't remember any of it? Not even the house on the cliff? The bridge with the red ribbons? I had no idea what he was talking about. I don't know you, I said. We matched on Tinder, you lunatic. He smiled gently. I built Tinder. I froze. Excuse me? He stepped closer, eyes bright with something I couldn't place. I built it for you. Not in the literal sense. The idea, the ecosystem, the ritual. He reached into his coat and pulled out a notebook, leather-bound, old-looking. He flipped it open and held it up. Page after page. Of me. Sketches, notes, coordinates, dates. Each one paired with a version of me from another time. I've been trying to hold on to you for lifetimes, he said. But you always slip. I backed up against the window, clutching a broken chair leg. You're insane. Maybe, he said. But I'm also right. He took a slow step forward. You were Elise in 1986. You wore red and never stopped tapping your foot under the table. In 2001, you were Mia. You brought your own wine and said my shirt was wrinkled. I loved that. He sighed. But you forget. You always forget. I gripped the chair leg tighter. Whatever. It ends now. He shook his head. You're not ready yet. Then his eyes flicked upward, to the portraits. To the ceiling. I followed his gaze, and my stomach dropped. Mirror hung above us, not a regular mirror, a huge one, tinted, angled downward. I saw the room from above. The table, the cracked window, drew in me. Only, in the reflection, I wasn't holding a chair leg. I was smiling, sitting calmly at the table, wearing a red dress I didn't own, and Drew. He was painting me, brush in hand, focused. Delicate. My reflection blinked. I didn't. I screamed, and threw the chair leg at the mirror. But it didn't shatter. Drew didn't flinch. "You're remembering," he said. "That's good." "I'm not her," I shouted. "I'm not any of them." "You are them," he said. "All of them. You just haven't caught up to yourself yet." I lunged at him, but before I could reach him, he stepped back and pressed something on the wall. The music stopped, the lights flickered, and the floor beneath me shifted like I was standing on an elevator. It was a random Sunday afternoon scroll when I saw her photo again, except this time, she wasn't on Tinder. She was on a missing persons forum. Same face, same tattoo, same dimples when she smiled, posted by her sister, dated 2 weeks before we matched. Her name was Ava, or at least, that's what her profile said. She wasn't like the other matches I'd gotten. No thirst traps, no filters. Just 3 photos, one in a bookstore, face mostly turned away, one in a forest, a little blurry one close up, smiling softly, hair tucked behind her ear, the kind of picture someone else might have taken. Candid, quiet, real. Her bio just said, "Don't ask for more pics. If you know, you know." Normally I would have swiped left, but something about her felt human. So I matched. We didn't talk much. Her responses were slow. Sometimes one word, sometimes nothing for hours. Me. "So what do you do?" Her, "Not much anymore." Me, "That's cryptic." Her, "I'm a quiet person." I figured she was shy, or maybe just bad at texting. But then she asked to meet. First, said she was only in town for a little while and wanted to go somewhere quiet. Suggested a trail just outside the city, nothing sketchy, popular with dog walkers, plenty of people around. I agreed. We met around 5 p.m. She wore the same forest green hoodie from her photo, a little faded. Smelled like lavender and something else, old books maybe. She didn't hug me, just nodded and started walking. We talked a little, mostly me asking questions, her giving short answers. She'd pause a lot to look at the trees. Said she liked listening to the way silence shifts. That phrase stuck with me. The way silence shifts. When we got to a clearing, she stopped, took out her phone. "I want a picture," she said. I stepped toward her, smiling. "Of us?" She shook her head. "No, just you." The photo she took was fine, a little overexposed. I asked her to send it to me. She said she would. She never did. That was the only time I saw her in person after the hike. She ghosted me. No text, no replies, just gone. Her Tinder profile vanished a day later. I figured she changed her mind. Maybe had second thoughts. Maybe she was seeing someone else. I moved on. Then 2 weeks later, I was in a Reddit thread about weird internet rabbit holes, and someone posted a comment like, "Always reverse image search Tinder pics. You never know who you're really talking to." It made me pause. I remembered that Ava's bookstore photo had a sign in the background, part of a logo. I screenshotted it from my camera roll, cropped it, and dropped it into Google. First hit, a Pinterest board for a girl named Marissa L. from Oregon. I clicked. There she was. Same hoodie, same bookstore. Same exact photo, only this one had a timestamp in the corner. March 22, 7 months ago. The caption under the photo said, "Miss you every day. Come home." My chest went cold. I searched her name. First result, missing since February 2022. Last seen leaving her job at a library in Salem, Oregon. She was 22. Parents filed a report. Friends put together a subreddit and Facebook page. There was even a local news clip. The most recent post was from her sister. If anyone has seen this photo being used online, please message me. Someone is still using her pictures. My stomach dropped because I had seen it, and worse, I had gone on a date with whoever was behind it. I sat on the edge of my bed, heart racing, fingers trembling as I typed. I messaged her sister, told her what I'd seen. When I matched, what we talked about, the photo she took, I told her I hadn't saved screenshots, and the profile was gone. But I remembered the username, and I remembered the voice. Her sister replied 10 minutes later. She thanked me. Said they'd gotten other reports too, the same photos, different names. All over the country. She asked for every detail. Gave her everything. Then she asked one more thing. Can you send me the photo Ava took of you? That's when I remembered. She never sent it. So why did I feel like I'd seen it? When her sister asked for the picture Ava took of me, I opened my camera roll out of instinct, even though I already knew it wouldn't be there, and it wasn't, but something else was. A new album. One I hadn't created, titled simply Forest. I felt my stomach drop. My hands went cold. I tapped it. There was only one photo inside. The picture Ava took of me. Only it wasn't the one I remembered. In the version in the album, I wasn't standing alone in the clearing. There was someone behind me. Not clearly visible. Just a figure half concealed behind the trees. A tall shape. Black clothing. Head slightly tilted. Watching. I stared at the photo so long the screen dimmed from inactivity. When it did, I saw my own reflection on the darkened glass, and for a split second, I swear I saw someone standing behind me again. I sent the picture to her sister. She responded almost immediately. That's not from Ava's phone. That's my sister's hoodie, but we've never seen this location. Who took this? I typed, she did, in front of me. Then I added, she smelled like books and lavender. She spoke softly. She didn't act off or anything. Her sister replied, that wasn't her. I felt sick, not metaphorically, literally. A drop in my stomach like stepping off a ledge. Before I could respond, she sent another message. Whoever met you is not Ava. Ava has been missing for 7 months. Then, if you still have the photo, please zoom in on her hands. That confused me. I opened the picture again, zoomed in. Her hands were tucked into her hoodie pockets, like I remembered. Nothing strange, but when I zoomed further, the pixels sharpened. Her left sleeve was pushed up just enough to see the faintest outline of something on her wrist. SQUINTED.ABARCODE. Not a tattoo. A printed barcode. Like from a hospital wristband, but too small. Too faint. And not shaped like any hospital band I've ever seen. It didn't wrap around her wrist. It was a flat square, pressed into her skin, like it had been stamped on her. That's when my phone buzzed. A text, unknown number. Did you like the photo? My heart slammed against my ribs so hard, I thought it might tear through bone. Another message came instantly. You looked scared. I like when you're scared. A third, want to see the one she didn't post? My hands shook so badly, I made 3 typos trying to block the number. Before I could, another picture came through. Not of me. Of Ava. Alive. Confused. Tied to a chair. A strip of tape across her mouth. Eyes wide, staring directly at the camera. Behind her was the same forest. Background. The same clearing. The same angled sunlight. Like the picture had been taken minutes ago. My vision blurred. I dropped the phone on my bed and stumbled back. My first thought was to call the police. But what would I say? Hi, I went on a Tinder date with someone who wasn't real. And now I'm getting photos of a missing girl tied to a chair in a forest that might not exist. They'd think I was hallucinating, Or worse, they'd waste time. I picked the phone back up. I typed, "Where is she?" Instant reply, "She's been here." Then, another picture came through, this time of the trailhead where we'd met. Empty, quiet, trees crowding the path. Then a third picture, a photo taken from behind a tree, looking at, and standing at the trailhead. Back when I first arrived. Before I even saw Ava. The timestamp was the same day. Minutes before she appeared. Someone else had been there. Someone watching. I tried calling the number. It didn't even ring. Just disconnected. Another text came. "Do you want to see her again?" I typed, "Yes." It sent. A new message appeared. "Then come back to where we met." I typed, "I'm not going alone." A reply, "You already did." My throat closed. Another, "You were alone long before you matched with her then, and she wasn't the one who matched you." I threw my phone, grabbed my jacket, and ran out of my apartment. Not back to the trail. To the police. To anyone. But halfway down the stairwell, I stopped. Not because I changed my mind, because someone was waiting at the bottom of the stairs. A woman. A green hoodie, hair in front of her face. Hands tucked into her pockets. But it wasn't Ava. She was taller. Palest skin I've ever seen. Head tilted in a way no living person holds themselves. And her wrists, both stamped with those same barcodes. She raised her head slowly. I couldn't breathe. Her eyes were wrong. Empty. Glass-like, like she wasn't looking at me, but through me. She opened her mouth. Not to speak. To smile. Wider than should have been possible. My phone buzzed. Behind me. I didn't want to turn, but I did. One new message. "Should take your picture now." When I looked back, the woman in the hoodie was holding a camera. An old Polaroid. Its flash burned white. I don't remember running. Don't remember driving. I only remember ending up in a Walmart parking lot at 3 a.m., curled up in my car. Shaking so badly, I bit my tongue hard enough to taste blood. My phone buzzed again. One last message. "You looked perfect." Attached was a new photo, a Polaroid of me, taken in the stairwell, taken seconds before I fled, and behind me, in the background, that same tall figure from the forest. Watching. Smiling. Closer than before. I noticed it the morning after our second date. She sent me a selfie. Just a simple mirror shot, like, "Hope you slept well," smiley face. Normal. Sweet. Except something was wrong. Her pupils were too big, like way too big. No iris. Just solid black circles, like her eyes were trying to swallow everything. At first, I thought it was a filter. I even asked her. She replied, "Lowell, what do you mean?" I didn't push it. Figured maybe it was just lighting. Or her camera glitched. Or maybe I was overthinking because I hadn't slept. But the next morning, she sent another photo. Same thing. Same lighting. Same exact mirror. Same unreal pupils. Her name was Riley. We matched 2 weeks ago. Her profile didn't scream crazy. No weird quotes. No vague trauma-dumping bios. Just 4 photos. A forest trail, a latte with a heart in the foam, a close-up with a book covering her face, and a full body shot in a hoodie and jeans. Chill vibe, she messaged first. That already made her stand out. "You look like someone who's good at pretending they're not." Lonely. Double quotes. Damn. That hit harder than it should have. We started talking late that night. Something about her was magnetic, sharp, curious, like she was always reading between the lines. She'd ask the kind of questions that made you stop and think. When do you feel most watched? Do you ever stare at your reflection and feel like it's learning you? Weird, sure. But I'm into weird. I'm not a small talk guy. Our first date was at this chill speakeasy type bar. Riley looked exactly like her pics. Tall, pale, slightly awkward posture, but her smile was real. You know when someone isn't faking it? She smiled with her whole face, but her eyes, they didn't blink much. That's what I remember, not in a creepy lizard way. Just less than normal. She'd stare and hold eye contact a second too long. At one point I joked, "Do you blink?" She smiled. "Not when I like what I see." That answer felt like a joke, but the timing was just off enough to make it weird. Still, the date was good. We made out in my car afterward. She kissed like she was memorizing my face. The next morning, selfie number 1, oversized pupils. Selfie number 2 came the day after. Then a pattern formed. Every morning after we hung out, she'd send me a mirror selfie. Always the same room. Always the same angle. And her pupils were always just slightly larger. I finally asked her to hang out again. I wanted to see her in person, to compare. She said yes. Came over to my place this time. I was nervous. She looked normal, beautiful even. No pitch black pupils or hypnotic stare. I felt relieved, like maybe it really was just the camera. We made dinner. Watched some true crime doc she picked. She kept saying things like, "Some people are good at hiding the monster," while looking straight at me with that quiet smirk. Later that night, we slept together. She was slow, almost ritualistic. At one point, I opened my eyes mid-kiss, and hers were already open, locked on mine, unblinking, like she was waiting to catch me doing that. The next morning, she was gone. No note, no text, but there was a new selfie on my phone. I hadn't noticed it arrive. It just was there, like it bypassed the notification. Same mirror, same angle, same pose. But this time, her eyes were completely black. No whites, just voids. And behind her in the photo, barely visible in the corner, was my bedroom window. I sat straight up in bed, checked the window, nothing there. Just condensation and morning light. Checked my phone. The photo was gone. Deleted. And there was no record of Riley ever sending. It called her. Straight to voicemail. I opened Tinder. Her profile was gone, not unmatched. Erased, like she'd never been there. For 2 days. I heard nothing. Then one night around 2 a.m., I woke up to my phone buzzing. New text. No name. No number. Just a message that said, "Did you feel it? Did you feel it?" That was all the text said. No name. No number. No to IMESTAMP. Just those 4 words. Waiting on my screen like a dare. I didn't reply. I couldn't. Because right after that message popped up, my phone's front-facing camera activated on its own for half a second. I saw my face. Then it froze. Then it blinked. Not me. The reflection. It blinked while I stared. Frozen, and smiled before the screen went black. I stopped sleeping after that. Every mirror in my apartment got covered. Screens turned face down. Webcam taped. Phone powered off at night and locked in a drawer. Didn't matter. She still got through. Not Riley. Or not what I thought Riley was. It started with a voicemail I never saw come in. I was in the kitchen. No phone near me. Then suddenly, a voice echoing from my bedroom. I walked in and saw the phone on my bed. Lit up. Playing a message. Her voice, slow, whispered, "You shouldn't have opened your eyes that night." The sound of her breathing filled the speaker. Slow, controlled. Then, in perfect sync with the last word, the front camera flashed. I didn't take a photo. It did. I took the phone to a tech guy I know. He rooted it, searched everything. He said the system log showed no activity. No third-party app control. No camera use. No calls. Nothing. He even checked for stalkerware. "Dude," he said, "you're clean. There's no evidence your phone's been touched." But I knew better. It wasn't about the phone. It was about her, or whatever she was. I went digging. Riley had no last name listed. No social profiles. The few photos she used on Tinder, reverse search turned up nothing. I went back to the bar where we first met, asked the bartender if he remembered her. He squinted. Tall girl, dark hoodie, barely blinked. I nodded fast. He frowned. She was here a couple of nights ago. Same seat, alone. Just sat there staring at the front door like she was waiting. That was 2 nights after she vanished. He added something else. She never ordered anything, but she left a photo on the table. I froze. Do you still have it? He pulled it out from under the bar. A Polaroid dot of me sitting in my apartment. On my couch, staring blankly ahead and in the photo. My pupils were gone, just 2 empty circles, like she'd taken the color with her. That night, I turned every mirror back toward me. If this woman, was trying to mess with me through reflections. I was done running from it. I wanted to see. So I turned on all the lights, sat in front of the bathroom mirror, and stared. For hours, nothing happened, until I blinked and my reflection didn't. It just kept staring. Eyes wide, unblinking. Slow grin crept up its face. I tried to move, but the version of me in the mirror stayed still, like it didn't need to mimic anymore. Then it tilted its head slowly, and from behind it, Rayleigh stepped into view, not in the room. In the mirror, she stood just behind the reflection, her head resting lightly on its shoulder. Her eyes were entirely black now, like twin voids that pulsed with something, like heat, like hunger. She lifted her hand and pressed her fingertip against the glass, right over where my heart would be, and whispered, barely audible, "Almost there." I smashed the mirror with my elbow. Glass shattered everywhere. But the reflection remained for a second after the glass cracked, like it hadn't registered yet. Then it flickered and was gone. I don't know how long I blacked out. I woke up on the bathroom floor, bleeding from a dozen small cuts. Lights off. Phone dead. I crawled to the sink, looked at the shards around me. Every single fragment still showed my face. With her behind me. That was 5 days ago. I haven't left my apartment since. I covered everything again. No mirrors. No screens. I use an old flip phone now. I sleep with the lights on and the windows blacked out. But every time I blink, I see her. She's not behind the glass anymore. She's inside my memory. She knows when I look for her. She wants me to see her. And every morning when I wake up, my pupils are just a little darker, just a little wider. Just like hers. Last night, I caught my reflection smiling when I wasn't. And this morning, there was a new photo on my flip phone. I don't know how it got there. It's a close-up of my eyes. Black, empty, and below it, one final text. You're ready now. The first thing I noticed was how clean his apartment was. Not like tidy clean. Not like he wiped down before a date. Clean. It was surgical. Every surface gleamed. No dust, no fingerprints, no clutter. Even the soap dispenser looked staged, like it had never been used. He said, "Sorry, it's kind of a mess," and laughed. I wanted to laugh back, but something about that felt rehearsed, like he was used to saying it, like he wanted me to believe this was normal. His name was Caleb. We met on Tinder about a week before. No red flags. Polite, sarcastic in a fun way. His photos were normal. Couple hiking pics, one in a bookstore, and one where he was cooking. Sleeves rolled up, flour on his forearm. Domestic, not try hard. His bio said, looking for someone who makes the quiet feel safe. Which, honestly, that got me. We messaged a bit, then moved to text. He didn't push. He wasn't weird. He waited 2 days to ask if I wanted to hang out in person. We got coffee first, then drinks. He was charming. Dry humor. Good listener. So when he invited me over for a movie night, I said yes. He lived in this modern apartment building outside the city. Sleek. Concrete hallways, high ceilings, coated doors. like the kind of place for people who cook with olive oil they can't pronounce. When I walked in, everything smelled like lemon and wood polish. "Wow," I said, stepping inside. "You don't strike me as a minimalist." He laughed. "I try to keep things simple." There wasn't a single personal item in sight. No framed photos. No throw blankets. No dirty laundry piles. No mail. No clutter on counters. Nothing in the sink. Even the TV was mounted too straight. The kitchen had a knife block. The knives looked untouched. The books on his shelves were perfectly spaced, color-coded. The couch had no pillows. The rug didn't have a single wrinkle. The coffee table had a single glass coaster. We sat down and started the movie. Something artsy and slow. The kind you pretend to understand. He offered me wine. Poured it into a glass he pulled from a cabinet full of identical glasses. Like a showroom. I tried not to let it get to me. But everything in me was on edge. Not because the place was clean. Because it felt performed. Like a set. Like it had been staged for me. About halfway through the movie, I asked to use the bathroom. He pointed to the door down the hall. I stepped inside and paused. It was the cleanest bathroom I'd ever seen. Not a hair. Not a water stain. Not a speck of toothpaste. The hand towel looked new. I opened the cabinet below the sink. Empty. No extra toilet paper. No cleaning supplies. No products. Just a blank white cabinet. I checked the medicine. Cabinet. Also empty. I stared at my own reflection for a long second. Then I noticed something. Above the mirror, tucked into the corner, was a tiny black dot, barely noticeable. A camera. I stepped out of the bathroom. Tried to act normal. Sat back down on the couch. My skin was crawling. "Everything okay?" he asked. I nodded too quickly. "Yeah, just a little headache." He turned back to the movie. But I felt him watching me from the corner of his eye. Reached for my phone and realized I hadn't gotten a single notification since I walked in. I checked it. No signal. No Wi-Fi. No bars. The building wasn't in a dead zone. I'd texted him from the parking lot. So what changed? I asked as casually as I could. "Hey, what's your Wi-Fi?" "I think my service is tanking in here." He didn't look up. "It's probably the walls. They're thick." I liked the silence. He didn't answer the actual question. I tried to smile. "Still wouldn't mind hopping on Wi-Fi if you've got it." He paused the movie, turned to me. And said, "You always ask around this point." I blinked. "What?" He smiled softly. "It's okay. You're just a little early this time." I didn't say anything. Could single quotes T. Because something in his face had changed. His expression was still calm. Still pleasant. But his eyes were locked in on me like he was studying my reaction. "Caleb," I said slowly, "I think I'm gonna head out." "You usually do," he said. Then added almost like an afterthought. "But not yet." I stood. He didn't stop me. I walked to the front door, grabbed the handle, twisted. Locked. I turned back to him. He hadn't moved. "The lock's on your side," I said. He nodded. I stared at him. He looked tired. "I clean everything for you," he said quietly. "Every time." "What are you talking about?" "You don't remember yet." "But you will." "You don't remember yet." "But you will." I just stood there, hands still on the locked doorknob. Heart thudding so loud, I was sure he could hear it. "What are you talking about?" I asked. Caleb stood up from the couch slowly, not threatening. Not fast, just deliberate. "You always ask that too," he said. Same tone. Same fear, right about now. I didn't say anything. Couldn't. He walked to the small shelf near the TV, opened a drawer, and pulled out something that looked like a notebook, thick, leather, bound, with a thin strap. He held it out to me. I didn't. "Take it." So he set it on the coffee table. "You're not the first version," he said. I swallowed. Version of what? Caleb smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes anymore. You. I backed toward the door again. Still locked. He sighed. Check the drawer if you want. You'll understand faster. Something about his voice made me look. Just a glance, and I wish I hadn't, because the notebook wasn't full of writing. It was full of photos. All of me. Sleeping, eating, laughing, wearing clothes I didn't remember owning. One photo had me sitting on a different couch, in a different apartment. Same terrified look in my eyes. Another one showed me standing in a kitchen, pregnant. What the actual hell? I flipped faster. Pages and pages. Different versions of me. Different hairstyles, clothes, expressions, but me. Always me. Sometimes smiling, sometimes crying, sometimes blank-eyed. I looked up, breath caught in my throat. What is this? He sat back down, calm, as if we were still on the same page. You never make it past this part, he said. Past what part? Understanding. I looked around the apartment again. The empty counters, the sterile fridge, the matching glasses. Everything placed like it was reset. I whispered, how many times? He didn't answer. I grabbed the notebook and started tearing pages out. Where did you get these? How did you? Who are these people? They're all you. No, they're not, I snapped. I've never been pregnant. I've never lived wherever this is. You're sick, you just don't remember. His voice was louder now, firmer, not angry but final. I don't understand, I said, backing away. You think we've dated before? He shook his head. Not just dated. He stood again, walked to the wall next to the kitchen, and pushed something in. There was a soft click. Section of the wall slid open, a door I didn't want to follow. Him, but I couldn't not. I stepped forward slowly, behind. That hidden door was a narrow stairwell. Concrete steps. Cold air. He flicked on a switch. The lights buzzed to life. And at the bottom of the stairs was a room. No windows. No color. Just a mattress. A camera. A desk. A mirror on one wall. And on the desk, a laptop. Hooked up to what looked like live video feeds. One of them showed this room right now. Another showed the apartment upstairs. The couch. The bathroom. The hallway. The feeds had timestamps going back years. I looked at Caleb. You've been watching me? He shook his head. I've been trying to keep you. I was shaking now. Rage and terror colliding in my chest. You drugged me? You kidnapped me? What is this? No, he said. Nothing like that. You come here. Every time. I stared at him. You swipe right. You text. You flirt. You trust me. You come here. You choose it. You always do. And then what? I snapped. You trap me down here? He paused. You forget. I don't know what it was about those two words, but my head started spinning. I felt lightheaded, nauseous. I looked at the camera feed. There were folders open. Each with a different name. My name. Dozens of versions. Spelled slightly differently. Different cities. Each one had video clips, images, logs. He opened one for me to see. It was a video. Me. In this room. Sitting on the edge of the bed. Crying. Saying, please don't make me forget again. I stumbled backward. He stepped toward me. Slowly, carefully. I try to keep you longer every time. I clean the apartment. I reset the stage. I wait. I learn. I adjust. And then you start pulling away. His eyes were wide now, desperate. You always ruin it. You always get scared. But this time, I thought maybe. I lunged for the laptop and smashed it off the desk. Sparks flew. He yelled. I bolted back up the stairs. The door at the top was still open. I grabbed the knob. Twisted, still locked. From the outside. He was coming up behind me. I turned and shoved the heavy notebook down the stairs. It smacked him in the face. Bought me seconds. I ran to the kitchen, looked for anything sharp, the knife block. I grabbed the biggest one and faced the door. He came up slow, arms raised. "I'm not going to hurt you," he said. "I never hurt you." "No," I said. "You just erase me." He stopped, stared at me for a long time, then said, "You'll come back." I didn't respond. I just raised the knife and backed away. Somehow he understood. He turned, walked toward the wall, pressed something I didn't see. The front door unlocked with a soft click. I didn't wait. I bolted. That was 6 days ago. I moved. Changed my number. Deleted Tinder. But I still don't feel safe. Because last night, I got a package. No return address. Inside was a small photo album. On the cover, us. I opened it. Every page held a Polaroid. Me. Smiling, sleeping, laughing. All in that apartment. All dated before the day I met him. I knew something was wrong the second he looked at me and said my birth name, the one I haven't used since I was 12. We were sitting across from each other at the restaurant table, awkward silence hanging between us, and he just smiled. "You always used to hate being called that," he said. I froze. The hair on my arms stood up. I glanced at my best friend across the table. She was mid-laugh with her own date, totally oblivious. I swallowed. Tried to smile back. "What did you just say?" He blinked like he hadn't realized he said it out loud. Then he smiled again. "Nothing. You just remind me of someone." It was supposed to be a double date. Harmless. My best friend Sam had been begging me for weeks to get back on Tinder. She said I'd been off the grid for too long, which was her way of saying I needed to get laid or fall in love or both. I finally gave in. Matched with a guy named Mark, short bio. Vague photos. Not my usual type, button-down shirt, quiet smile, sharp jaw. But he messaged me first and used correct grammar. Low bar, I know, but rare. Sam matched with someone else, Tate, and immediately got excited about the idea of a double. "Takes the pressure off," she said. "Worst case, we laugh about it over fries." So we met at a gastropub downtown. Sam and Tate hit it off immediately. Lots of flirting, inside jokes, drinks flowing. Mark, on the other hand, something felt off. He was polite, smiled at the right times, but too still, like he was watching me more than talking to me. Like he already knew me. At one point I asked what he did for work, and he said, "I used to do something else, but this feels more meaningful." I asked what this meant. He didn't answer. Just tilted his head slightly, like he was trying to figure out what I was hiding. I excused myself to the bathroom, just to breathe. My phone buzzed in my purse. I checked it. A text from Sam. "Why do I feel like we're the ones being set up?" I stared at the message for a long moment. Then another came through. "Mark's vibe is like he knows something. You good?" I typed back. "He just called me by my birth name." She responded immediately. "What? How? You never used that." He must have seen it somewhere. Only, that's the thing. I've scrubbed that name, changed it legally, deleted every reference online. Not even Sam uses it. I replied. He said it like a memory. When I got back to the table, Sam and Tate were laughing, leaning into each other. Mark was still, hands folded. Watching me sit down, he said, "You okay?" I nodded. "Fine." Then he leaned forward slightly and said, so softly I almost didn't catch it, "Your left canine is still a little crooked." My blood ran cold, because I do have one slightly crooked tooth. Something I've always been self-conscious about. But I've never mentioned it on social. It's not visible in photos. You'd have to know me well, or stare very, very closely to even notice. I said nothing. Mark just smiled and took a sip of his drink. Later, I pulled Sam aside while the guys paid the bill. "I'm not walking back to the car with him," I said. "I'll Uber." She frowned. "He's not like Scary, just weird. No, Sam, he knows things, she blinked. Like what? I told her about the tooth. The name, the way he spoke to me like we had history. She nodded slowly. Okay, so maybe he's been watching your stuff? I don't post. I barely exist online anymore. She didn't argue, just said, all right, I'll come with you. But when we stepped outside, Mark was gone, just gone. Tate said he went to grab something from his car, only he never came back. His profile disappeared the next morning. Not unmatched. Deleted. I searched everywhere. Reverse image searched his photos. Nothing. Even the name Mark came up blank on Tinder. Like he never existed. 2 days later, I got a package at my door. No return address. Inside was a single item. A photo. Old. Faded. From years ago. Me. Sitting in a park I hadn't visited since I was a kid. Must have been 10 years old, and next to me on the bench, a boy slightly older. Same jawline, same smile. Mark. I stared at the photo for a long time, long enough for my vision to blur. There I was, 10 years old, pigtails, gap-toothed smile, eating ice cream. And beside me, Mark, same face, same bone structure, same smile, just younger. Maybe 13. The kind of photo only a parent, a relative, or a very close family friend would ever have. But I had never seen this picture before. And I sure as hell didn't remember this boy. I called my mom. My voice was shaking. Do we know a kid named Mark? From when I was little? There was a long pause. Too long. She exhaled softly. Honey, where did you hear that name? My stomach nodded. Just answer me. She didn't speak for a moment. Then, you used to play with a boy named Marcus. He lived down the street. You two were inseparable. At least until what? Another pause. Until the incident. My skin prickled. What incident? I didn't want you growing up scared, she said. You were only 10. We moved a few months after it happened, and your therapist thought, Mom, what incident? Her breath hitched. He went missing. I froze. He what? One day he just vanished, last seen near the park. No leads, no signs of a struggle. He was just gone. I pressed the photo into my leg so hard the paper bent. And you never told me? You were a child, she said. You cried for weeks, and then one day you just stopped mentioning him. We thought it was better that way. I whispered, what was his last name? She hesitated again. Lewis. Marcus Lewis. Mark. I hung up without saying goodbye. I sat on my floor, staring at that photo, trying to breathe, trying not to scream, trying to understand how a boy who disappeared when I was 10 could show up on Tinder 15 years later, looking exactly the same. Same height, same face, same smile. No aging. Nothing. Like he'd stepped out of that photo and into the bar. That night I barely slept. Every sound felt wrong. Every shadow felt too still. At around 3:47 a.m. I woke up to my phone buzzing on the nightstand. A text, unknown number. Did you like the picture? My blood iced over. Another message. It's my favorite memory of you. Then, you always ate your ice cream too fast. I covered my mouth, staring at the screen. Another text. You haven't changed at all. Then, not the parts that matter. A photo came through. Grainy. Black and white. Taken through a window. Me. Asleep in my bed. 15 minutes ago, I shot up. Heart hammering so hard I thought it might bruise my ribs. I grabbed a baseball bat from my closet. Ran to the window. Nothing. No footprints. No shadows. No movement at all. But the glass was cold. Too cold. Like someone's breath had been on it. I called Sam. She picked up immediately. Voice groggy. You okay? He sent me a picture, I whispered. Of me sleeping. Tonight. She was silent. Sam? Then she whispered, don't turn around. My lungs seized. What? She said it again, voice shaky. Don't turn around. I didn't listen. I turned out. My bedroom door was open wider than before. Just a crack, but through that crack, I saw an eye. A single eye. Watching me. Unbl. Ein king. Dark. Familiar. Marks. I screamed and dropped the phone. Ran to the front door and fumbled with the locks. My fingers kept slipping. My whole body felt like it was vibrating. Finally, the deadbolt gave way. I yanked the door open and someone grabbed my wrist. I screamed so loud it echoed down the whole hallway. "Hey, it's me." It was Sam. Hair wild, barefoot, breathing hard. "I came over," she said. "You weren't answering. I heard you scream." I dragged her inside and slammed the door, hysterical. "He's here," I gasped. He was in the hallway. He was watching me through the door. We checked the hall, checked the stairwell, checked the building's front entrance. Nothing. Not a sound, not a shadow, not a trace. She stayed with me until sunrise. We talked, tried to piece things together, tried to make sense of the impossible. At some point, she said, "Maybe he's someone who looks like Mark. Someone using old photos, someone messing with you." I wanted to believe her. I tried, until my phone buzzed again around 7 a.m. A photo. Sent to both of us. Me and Sam standing in my doorway 20 minutes ago. Laughing. Talking. Be a cklit by the rising sun. And behind us, half hidden in my apartment's dark hallway, a figure, a man, tall, still, head tilted slightly, watching. Watching me. Like he had been there the whole time. Another text came through. "I missed you." Then, "We were never supposed to grow up separately." Then, "I'll see you again soon. I always do." I blocked the number. Didn't matter. Another message came through instantly from a new one. "Don't worry. I remember enough for both of us." And then, "Let's finish the date." I didn't recognize him at first. He looked normal enough. Plain hoodie, clean smile, buzzed hair. Kind of forgettable, if I'm honest. But when I sat down across from him at the cafe, he looked at me like we had unfinished business. Like he already knew how the night was going to go. And the first thing he said was, "You haven't changed a bit." I blinked. "Excuse me?" His smile widened, warm, familiar. "You probably don't remember me." "It's been a while." I stared at him. "We matched, like, yesterday?" He gave a soft laugh. "No, not Tinder. Before that." I shook my head slowly. "I don't think so." "Yeah," he said, leaning in a little. "We dated. Years ago." I tried to play it off as a bad joke or some cheesy opener. But the way he said it, it didn't sound like a pickup line. It sounded like a correction, like I was wrong about my own life. He said his name was Dane. I scrolled back through our messages when I got home. I hadn't missed anything. We'd only talked for 2 days. Surface level stuff. Where do you live? What do you do? The usual dance. Nothing deep. Nothing personal. But at the cafe, Dane knew things. He remembered the name of my high school before I told him. He mentioned a specific trail I used to walk with my dog, a place I hadn't been in over a decade. He even joked about the time I broke my ankle skating. And here's the thing. I never posted about that. Not online. Not even in old Facebook albums. I had to wear a boot for 6 weeks and missed half of PA, my junior year. And somehow this total stranger remembered it. I asked him again, point blank, "How do you know that?" He shrugged. "You told me. Back then. Back when?" I've never met this man. I went home that night with a pit in my stomach. I looked through every photo app, every cloud account, every yearbook. Nothing. No photos. No mentions. No Dane. But something even worse started to happen after that. Little memories. Things I knew happened, started feeling. Foggy. Not erased. Just blurry. My high school graduation. I remember the photos, but not the actual ceremony. My first kiss? I know it happened, but I can't recall who it was with any more. Dane had mentioned that too, casually, like it had been him. You were so nervous you missed and hit my chin, he'd said. Smiling, I laughed it off at the time, but now, I wasn't sure. I tried asking my mom about high school stuff, childhood things, random details. She answered everything. But when I asked if I'd ever dated a boy named Dane in high school or college, she paused. Brows pulled tight. That name sounds familiar, she said slowly. But I don't think so. Maybe someone from that summer camp you went to. I never went to summer camp. Not once. I told her that. She frowned deeper. Are you sure? I asked Sam, my best friend since middle school. She was even more confused. No. You've never dated a Dane. I'd remember. That's a hot name. I was relieved. For a second, until I opened Instagram later that night and saw a tagged post. I didn't remember being part of me. At a bonfire, sitting next to Dane, his arm around my shoulder, both of us smiling like we'd been together forever. Posted. 6 years ago. I stared at the photo for an hour. It was me. Wearing a hoodie I no longer owned. Hairstyled how I wore it years ago. A scar on my left wrist I'd completely forgotten about, until I saw it there in the image. The photo had nearly 100 likes, comments from people I didn't recognize. Y'all were so cute together. Still the best couple I've ever third-wheeled. Miss these days. I clicked on Dane's profile. At Dane. Lost you once, but it was private. Only one sentence in his bio. History doesn't delete. It repeats. I messaged Sam in a panic. Sent her the post. Do you remember this? She replied instantly. I swear I've never seen this in my life. You've never even gone camping, have you? No, I hadn't. I tapped through the other photos he was tagged in. There were 5 more, all years old. In every one, I looked happy, but not like myself. Almost like a version of me. Like someone had stitched pieces of my face and body together and pasted them into his life. The next day, he texted me. Want to go back to the trail? The one where we carved our initials into the tree? I replied, I never did that. He sent a photo of a tree trunk. With our initials carved into the bark, the date below it, the 12th of July 17. I was in another state that summer. At least I thought I was. I decided to confront him. I asked him to meet me again, daylight this time. Crowded cafe. He smiled the second he saw me, like I was already his again. Why are you doing this? I asked. Why are you faking this whole thing? He tilted his head. You really don't remember? No. He exhaled slowly, like I disappointed him. We met in a different version, he said. I blinked. What? You ever heard of echo theory? He asked. That time doesn't just move forward, it loops. Sometimes people fall through, get unstuck, end up where they don't belong. I just stared. He continued. You and we were together, in a different pass, but you didn't make it to the next one. Not the same way I did. So I found you again, or a version of you. You're insane, I whispered. He smiled. Maybe. I stood to leave. He didn't stop me. But before I walked out the door, he said, You've already started forgetting this one. 2. I didn't believe him. Until I got home and realized I couldn't remember the name of the street I grew up on. Until I looked at my driver's license and the face looked just slightly off. Until I found a journal under my bed, in my handwriting, filled with pages that started like this. If I forget this time, someone has to remind me. Don't trust the man with the crooked smile. He keeps following you through versions. The next day, Sam called me, freaking out. Okay, what is going on? She said, I just found a picture of me and that guy. From a Halloween party 2 years ago. She didn't remember it. She doesn't even go to Halloween parties. She swore up and down she'd never met him. But there they were in the photo, him in a vampire cape, her laughing in a devil costume. We're being inserted into his life, I said. Like Photoshop? Like memory swap, I whispered. Like he's editing our timelines. I tried to block him, delete everything, but every time I turned off my phone, I'd wake up with new photos in my gallery, screenshots of my own memories. Stuff I hadn't thought about in years. A birthday party I didn't remember attending. A car I didn't remember owning. A face in the background of each shot. His watching smiling waiting 2 nights ago. I had a dream. I was back in that trail. The one from the tree carving. It was foggy, empty, still. I found the tree. Our initials were still there. But this time, there were dozens of other sets. All with different variations of my name. B plus DL. Marissa plus Dane Miri plus DMJ plus D.L. Each carved at different depths. Some old, some fresh, like he'd been trying again and again. Across different lives, across different versions of me. I woke up with dirt on my feet. Today, I opened my journal. There was a new entry in it, dated tomorrow. He said he can't stop until I remember everything. I asked how many times this has happened. He said on version 19. I don't know how many more of me are left. I don't know what Dane is, a person, a glitch, a stalker from somewhere time forgot, but I know one thing. He isn't just finding me, he's copying me. And each time, he's getting closer to making the version that stays, that loves him back, that doesn't run. Can feel myself slipping. Names feel blurry. Places feel like dreams. When I look in the mirror, sometimes I don't blink at the same time. But the worst part? The worst part is I found a voicemail on my phone this morning. I didn't listen to it at first. Then I did. It was my voice. Tired. Flat. Like I'd recorded it while breaking. If you're hearing this, I said, then he's already found you again. Don't listen to anything he says. Don't believe the photos. Don't go to the trail. And for the love of God, never kiss him. I stared at the screen for what felt like hours, because below the message, the timestamp was from a year ago, and the contact name? Me. I was 2 seconds from deleting Tinder for good when the last match came in. No name. No age, just a profile photo, blurry, low lit, of someone standing at the end of a hallway. Face in shadow, eyes glowing faintly, like some messed up glitch. I stared at it for a long moment, thumb hovering over the screen. The bio said, "Don't swipe unless you're ready to be seen." I should have swiped left, should have closed the app. Should have thrown my phone into the ocean, but I didn't. I swiped right. And everything changed. The match was instant, like it had been waiting. I got a message right away. Finally, no hello, no pickup line. Just that. I didn't respond. I stared at the screen, heart thudding for no reason I could explain. The profile photo was gone now, replaced with a static gray icon. The bio was blank. In the match's name, it now said, you. The next morning, I woke up to a new message. No notification. It was just there. I'm closer than you think. I went to unmatch, but the app glitched, said error every time I tried. I even force closed it, deleted, reinstalled. But when I opened it again, it wasn't Tinder anymore. The icon was the same, but the UI had changed, darker, more jagged. Fewer buttons. Only one profile remained. Mine. At first, I thought it was a virus. Some deep fake scam maybe. Maybe I downloaded something by accident. But then I got a text from an unknown number. Why are you trying to run? I blocked it. A new one came through 5 seconds later. You invited me in. Don't forget that. I didn't respond. Didn't sleep either. 2 days passed. Then my apartment started to change. Small things at first. Unnerving things. I came home from work. And the photo on my fridge, a picture of me and my brother at the lake, had been replaced. Same frame, but now it was a Polaroid of me, sitting at my kitchen table, staring straight at the camera. I don't own a Polaroid camera, and I don't remember anyone taking that photo. That night, I checked my phone. The Tinder app, or whatever it had become, was open again. A new message appeared on screen without me touching anything. Smile more. You look better when you're scared. I stared into the black mirror of my screen, feeling something crawl behind my eyes. Then the front-facing camera turned on. I didn't activate it, didn't allow it. It just turned on and stayed on, recording me. I tried to close the app, power down the phone. Nothing worked. Then, after a few seconds of frozen panic, a new message typed itself in real time. Got what I need. See you soon. The camera shut off. I left the apartment, stayed at a friend's place. Didn't tell her everything, just said I was dealing with a bad breakup and a stalker. That part was half true. The strange thing is, the phone stopped acting weird. No texts. No photos. No creepy Tinder app. For about 3 days. Then, I woke up one morning and found a photo in my camera roll. One I didn't take. A shot from inside my friend's house, looking at me, asleep on the couch. I checked all the doors. Locked, windows too. I asked my friend if she had cameras. She didn't. I bought a new phone. New number. New Apple ID. Started over. Deleted all social media. I didn't even back up contacts. But when I opened the camera app for the first time, there was already a photo there. A new one. Of me. Standing in my bathroom mirror. Only, I wasn't standing in my bathroom when I took the photo, because I never took it. I moved back into my place, not because I felt safer there, but because at least the threat felt contained. It followed me anyway. Now every time I wake up, something's been shifted. Chairs slightly moved. Candles burned lower. My toothpaste squeezed differently then. I left it. And the phone always has a new photo. Always of me. But always from just behind me. I started leaving sticky notes for myself. Small things, to track time and memory. You locked the door. You unplugged the microwave. You are real. Because the worst part isn't just being watched. It's the feeling that I'm splitting. Like I'm starting to forget what parts of my life I've actually lived, and which ones this thing is feeding me. The final straw was tonight. I came home and found a hoodie hanging on my closet door. Gray. Faded. I hadn't seen it in years. Because I lost it. 3 years ago. Left it behind at a friend's cabin hours from here. And inside the pocket, a phone. Not mine, but it had my background photo, my lock screen. My apps. Only. The wallpaper was slightly wrong. In mine, I'm smiling. In this one, I'm not. And in the Notes app, a single entry. This is where you stopped being you. That night, I slept with the lights on. Every light. Overhead, lamps, fridge, everything. I even left the closet door open so I'd know if it moved. I sat in the living room with my back to the wall, holding both phones. The new one and the one I found in the HOODIE. The found phone wouldn't let me reset it. Wouldn't let me turn it off either. It just stayed on. Quiet. Watching. At 3:12 a.m. It buzzed. One notification. You're ready now. Then the screen went black. The lights in my apartment flickered, all of them. And the air shifted. Not colder. Just wrong. Like the room had inhaled and never exhaled. I stood up slowly, the phone still in my hands. The lights buzzed again, dimmed to a sickly orange hue, and the screen on the found phone lit up by itself. Video call incoming. Caller. ID. You. I let it ring. I didn't dare answer it. Then it stopped, and a video played automatically, no sound. Just grainy footage of me sitting on my couch, only. I wasn't holding the phones in the video. I was smiling. Calm. Eyes locked on something just off camera. Then, slowly, my head turned. In the video, I looked directly at the lens and mouthed, "Let me in." I dropped the phone. Backed into the kitchen, heart pounding so loud it felt like static in my ears. The front door creaked open on its own, not wide, just enough. A draft crawled in. Cold and damp and metallic, like breath on the back of my neck. Then I heard it, my voice, from the hallway, whispering, "I've waited long enough." I slammed the door shut and locked it, top and bottom. But the whisper kept going. From inside the vents. From under the sink. From behind the bathroom mirror. I don't remember falling asleep, but I must have, because when I woke up, the apartment was different. Not messy, rearranged. Everything in the wrong place, but deliberately. Chairs turned toward corners, drawers open and empty. The microwave sat on the floor, unplugged. All the photos on the wall now showed the same thing. Me. Standing alone in unfamiliar places. Forest trails, empty theaters, hotel lobbies, always distant, always looking straight at the camera. None of them were mine. I tried leaving. I packed a bag, grabbed my keys. But when I stepped out of the apartment door, I was no longer in my hallway. It was the hallway from the Tinder profile picture. Same stretch of darkness. Same buzzing exit sign at the far end. Same faint red glow leaking under the last door. I turned around. The apartment door was gone. Just more hallway. I ran. The farther I went, the more the hallway twisted, like a tunnel collapsing in on itself. Lights flickered, walls warped, and the air got thicker. I reached the final door. No knob. Just a blank steel face with something scratched into it. "You swiped." I pressed my hand to it, and it opened. Inside was a room. Empty, except for a massive, full-length mirror. And standing in front of it was me. Not a reflection. Another me. Same face. Same scar on my wrist. Same shirt, but her eyes were wrong. Black, hollow, endless. She smiled. I didn't. She raised her hand. I didn't move. Still smiling. She said, "I've been trying to get out." I backed away. "You're not me." She tilted her head. "I'm the version that stayed. The one that answered. Every time someone swipes, I get a little closer." She reached toward the mirror. The glass began to ripple. "This time, you swiped me." I turned and ran. The hallway didn't end. I kept running, screaming, clawing at the walls. Until suddenly, I was back in my apartment. Everything back in place. Phone's gone. Door closed. Lights off. My own breath was the only sound. Had I imagined it? A breakdown? A dream? Then I turned toward the mirror in the hallway, and my reflection blinked late. Half a second after I did. Now, I can't tell if I'm the original anymore. My face feels unfamiliar. My memories, foggy in places they shouldn't be. People smile at me on the street like they know me. But I don't know them. And sometimes, when I look in reflective surfaces, I swear I see the other one still waiting. Still watching. Last night, a message popped up on my new phone. No number. No app. Just words. It worked. "Thank you." And a photo of me, sitting in front of the mirror, eyes black, smiling.